Yes. What happened?
Here we go.
And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the prosecution is not going to get that man today. No. Because I'm going to get him.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, listeners from coast to coast and worldwide to a special Thursday edition of the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. Today is Thursday, July 26, 2012. This is a live broadcast. My name is Doug Hagmann. With me, I'm joined by Joe Hagmann, my co-host. I'm the founder and director of the Northeast Intelligence Network at HomelandSecurityUS.com, not affiliated with any government agency. And, of course, Joe is the associate director of HomelandSecurityUS.com. Folks, visit HomelandSecurityUS.com every day. We're preparing tonight to put up a lot of information, some things that we've talked about that we have not put up yet because of some research that we've been doing. That said, Joe, welcome to the program.
Glad to be here as always, and just to let our audience know, before the show we were scrambling around, messing around with Skype as it was giving us problems. I would call into the show as host, and it would tell me that our Blog Talk host queue is full, that we need to call back at a later time, was the message I was getting. So I had to keep hanging up and calling back. So got you on with about 3 seconds left to go on air. But
yeah, actually, I was pretty surprised because I was, here. Yeah,
people were having problems logging in. People are having problems getting on. I had problems signing in today. So Blog Talk must be slow. I wanted to upload audio for tonight. It would not let me do that either. Some audio of the top immigration officials described border chaos resulting from administration's amnesty policy. Senator Sessions hosted a press conference today with top officials from two unions that represent U.S. immigration law enforcement agencies. And if I can get that audio up in the meantime, I will. Otherwise, I'll just read to you what he said later on when we get to that part of the show.
Well, there's a lot of news to cover. There are a lot of events to cover, and certainly we want to talk about the prospect of potential attacks at the Olympics. We've gotten reams and reams and reams of reports from various agencies about what could happen at the Olympics, and I'll tell you what. And
I want to say
about that.
People, listeners in the chat room, people who call in regularly, I heard some things, saw some things today. They're talking about this 9th of Av, and all of a sudden they're changing it, saying that, it really wouldn't start until Saturday or Sunday.
Well, I think there might be some. Okay, it's Tish B'Av is the Jewish. That might be right because I'm not sure if it can start on the Sabbath, which would be Friday. Okay, I don't know how that works.
Me neither, and I just wanted to get any kind of clarification we could on that. Some of the things we're going to get into. There's.
Wait. Let me just say this, Rob. If you're listening in Israel or Tamar or anyone in Israel, if you want to send me a clarification on Tish B'Av with respect to the Sabbath, certainly do so via Skype or via email. That'd be appreciated. Okay, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, just to say some of the news we're getting into tonight. The Colorado shooting prompts calls to curb online ammo sales. And also, we came across an interesting report earlier today where Obama said something along the lines of, I, like most Americans, believe that the Second Amendment guarantees an individual the right to bear arms. And he says that, but does he mean it? Will we see,
There's something terribly wrong with this. I'm going to tell you right now, I believe that there's something terribly wrong.
And if anybody can listen to the first 15 minutes of the Michael Savage show from last night, he opens the show in about, I'd say 2 minutes in, 3 minutes into it, he goes on a tirade about how people should not have the access to buy body armor or clips, 100-round clips, how it should be, regulated. There's no reason for a citizen to have body armor and to have 100-round clips when going hunting. He also does not understand the fundamental basis for the rights for our Second Amendment, apparently, which I was shocked, and I tried to make a YouTube video and extract that audio clip from his show and add it with the list of other celebrities and media heads who are talking this same rhetoric. People do not get it.
And let me just say this about that, kind of off track a little bit. We are in the process of really getting some, expanding our reach, and by doing so, for example, being more active and more proactive on YouTube. And I think we've come to a decision here. I think last week we had talked about the what our place is as watchmen, as reporters, as investigators, what our place is. And again, we're not professional talk show hosts, and I had publicly made an appeal, I suppose, for people to pray for us as to what our role is in all of this, what we should be doing, because obviously we're investigators by day, and that involves that's how we make our living. Okay, so if we, for example, if we would expand what we're doing here, it's going to be a leap of faith, because and folks who have contributed to the cause financially, we thank you, of course, but it's honestly, it's nowhere near what we need to do this on a full-time basis, and of course we're looking at other avenues of sponsorships and what have you.
But it is remarkably helpful. And,
yes,
we are nowhere. We're not hurting or anything. We're just as we explained the other night, attempting to do this full time, put our full efforts into media instead of trying to juggle 2 full-time jobs. When we can commit ourselves to one and do it very efficiently, and
you said that very well. Thank you. Yeah,
and get across much better. An article I just posted in the chat room: leaked UN treaty does ban guns, and I posted that link in the chat room. There's an article about it on Infowars.com, and I found this link somewhere else. And I'm not sure if you saw this, Dad, but I will send this to you via email. I have the treaty.
Yes, I've got a copy of the treaty downloaded.
Okay.
I downloaded that right away as soon as I saw it.
Aaron Dice writes that article. It says, treacherous wording upholds states' gun rights but not individuals. The text of the anticipated hotly contested United Nations Arms Trade Treaty has been leaked, with the treaty itself to be adopted and signed by member states as early as tomorrow, July 27th. President Obama today joining the chorus for gun control inside the United States in the wake of the Batman massacre has previously indicated that he would sign the treaty, which would then have to be ratified by the Senate. As we talked about last night, 2/3 of the senators would have to ratify or be in support of this document to get it through. They did not seem to have the full Senate ratification numbers before the Colorado massacre. Now they are talking like they do have the majority. And what a surprise and a coincidence as that unfolded the way it did.
Yeah, and about that shooting, and a lot of things come back to that, and it's almost as if Joe and I were talking today. We really don't want to. We're kind of tired of talking about the shooting because it's monopolizing a lot of things. But
it always,
go ahead.
Whatever we're researching, we're looking into, and especially with this treaty going on, it always comes back to this.
It does, and one of the things.
New information.
Yes, we do have new information, and we broke this last night. That according to a law enforcement official, and I know that a lot of people were listening last night, and this has already made the rounds on the internet. A lot of one of the someone close to the investigation. Okay, last night I interviewed said, look, there were 2 at least two people there at the theater, and perhaps a third person involved in the assisting of this. And this was a conspiracy by its very nature, by its very legal definition. Now, we're not hearing about this. We're not hearing about the second person. No. We do have, thanks to an individual who wants at this point to remain anonymous. However, that's probably temporary. We do have transcripts of that of the police activity that night,
and they do identify at least two people as being suspects.
Absolutely, and
you can find the audio online.
Yeah, but there's I noticed this too. It's interesting because some of the audio now is redacted, some has been taken off, some has been scrubbed, but this person got the audio right away, and the transcription of the audio we've gone through, and there's definitely two people at that theater, and I'm beginning to, after looking at this audio or the transcription, I'm wondering if this Holmes even fired a shot.
Yeah, we don't know.
It's almost like a Lee Harvey Oswald situation. So if that's the case, then this has a greater level of importance for what's going on in the world. I mean, it's just not a tragedy in Aurora, Colorado. This was a planned event for some other purpose. And I don't, without speculating, well, we can look at Arms Trade Treaty and such. So anyway, and then Michael Savage, that surprises me.
Did you hear the audio?
No, I did not. But
okay.
But look, the Second Amendment, as you said, Joe, the Second Amendment is in place not for hunting, not for sports guns, not for it. We need that Second Amendment in the event of a tyrannical government, to fight against a tyrannical government. So, yeah,
exactly.
What? And you know what?
And this coming from Michael Savage, which really surprises me, saying, he's saying, I support the Second Amendment. I have guns in my house. I believe in the right for citizens to bear arms, but just not the kind of arms that fire lots of bullets or body armor. The only reason you need body armor, he said, are police officers, and still there's hollow point piercing, armor-piercing rounds that can, be used against body armor. Well, what about the Department of Homeland Security purchasing 450 million rounds of hollow point body armor-piercing ammunition itself? Don't we have the right to have body armor to protect ourselves against that? I mean, don't we have the right?
You're not. I think you misspoke there. I don't think they're armor piercing.
They're hollow points, from what I understand.
Hollow points, but I don't think they're armor piercing. In which case, body armor wouldn't be any good.
Yeah, depending on the range. Okay, maybe I misspoke on that. But still, the argument being made by the so-called conservatives, because he even says in his audio rant, us conservatives with a big C, whatever that means.
Go ahead. Yeah, I know what that. I mean, conservatives with the big C. That's me. Okay.
Because we believe, that in the right to bear arms, but we don't believe we need 100-round drum clips for machine guns and body armor.
No, we need 2 100-round gun clips.
Exactly my point. And I'm sorry I couldn't get the audio fixed up to get it on to the show tonight, but just listen to the first 15 minutes of his show and you'll understand what I'm talking about from yesterday, and it's pretty stomach turning.
Well, I've got his private email, so I'm going to send him an email because I was on the show that one time, but
we got Rupert Murdoch calling for gun control, Michael Moore. We have Mayor Bloomberg telling now he said he was kidding about the police officers going on strike until the people turn in their guns, because he knows he was breaking the law when making those statements. Yet he's going to get away with it, as most corrupt politicians get away with their crimes, no matter how big or small. But to tell people to go out and, basically that there should be anarchy until you do what he says or you do what he wants, is absolutely absurd. He should be removed as mayor. He's a disgrace to that city, to that state, and there's been so many disgraces before him. but they continue to each top each other. And Mayor Bloomberg is one of the worst city mayors connected to these globalist elite international bankers who want total control over your lives. He wants to control what you eat, how much salt you take, where you can smoke, how many bullets you can have in a clip, how big your pop can be. Pretty soon, how much time you can spend on the internet, how many hours out of the day you can use electricity. I mean, where is it going to end?
Well, yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't called to shrink down the Empire State Building. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. These
you laugh on that one.
Well,
choke my own spit there.
Okay, well, that's a pleasant picture. But look, it's what we've got here is we've got not just Bloomberg, but we've got a whole entire cadre of these kind of people, progressives, who are attempting to control every aspect of our lives. And I got to tell you, I really have. I've got this. I haven't had any dreams or anything like that. I think you got to sleep to dream, and I haven't really done much of that. I did, by the way, wake up on my keyboard this morning. I fell asleep in my office. I got in about 3:30 this morning, and I have a Word document that's several hundred pages long with nothing but spaces and characters. But anyway, having said that, I just think that there's a big. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to tell you, Holly in the chat sent this, posted this in the chat, July 26th, Intel Hub, Colorado shooting. We've been lied to, and there's proof. Aurora, following this timeline of actual events that took place just after the mass shooting, was reported to 911 in Colorado Theater during a midnight showing of the Batman film. And it goes through the calls to the police and what was said. 4 minutes, 30 seconds in, suspect caught. 6 minutes, 40 seconds, 6 seconds in. One of the shooters is wearing a white and blue clothing. 8 minutes in, witnesses report multiple suspects. 16 minutes in, male suspect seen with red backpack and another all in black fleeing the scene.
Okay, I'm checking this here. Go ahead.
17 minutes into the 911 or police being there, James Holmes was named, but seconds before they are talking about a second suspect on the loose who got away. Also, cops describing one of the suspects as male, dressed in black camo vest, gun mask, and possessing multiple long guns. Basically, like you said, like your source said, there are more than one persons involved in this. And to what degree, whether they were, throwing tear gas or opening the doors for people to get in or shooting themselves. Me and you were talking last night about how actually Holmes might not even be the shooter. He's
I'm not
amnesia today, saying he has no idea what's going on, asking the jail guards, why is he there? Why is he being, persecuted, and why is he doesn't understand.
This
is a far cry from yesterday, where apparently he was spitting on guards and asking them how the movie ended, and now they say he has amnesia, which would coincide with mind control tactics.
Yeah. But, and I would urge everyone, look, if you have the ability to watch the Manchurian Candidate, the original Manchurian Candidate. Okay, I don't know if it's on YouTube or if it's frankly
I've seen both. Thanks
okay,
to you.
But the original one is perhaps I would suspect it's more to. I've seen both too. I wasn't too impressed with the second one. The first one was just outstanding in terms of how they did it.
The second one has Denzel Washington in it and Meryl Streep and a few other notable actors. The first one was older.
Right. Older. Well, yeah. Yeah, it was like 1962.
Yeah, it's black and white.
Okay, but I got to tell you, I think that what we're witnessing here, and I'm looking now at what the source had done, and again, he's requesting anonymity just temporarily. This man's bona fides or bona fides, whatever we're going to call him, I got to tell you, wow, I can only hope to have him. But that said, he went through every minute of the talks between the cars and the station. Okay, just really quick, I just want to go over this because there's something really bothering me about this, and then we'll move on. But
okay, let's spend as much time as you want on this because we have
because this is something that we'll put up on our website tonight at HomelandSecurityUS.com. Now we haven't updated that in 24 hours, but
before when you get into the actual shooting, what happened in Aurora, Colorado, did you see the Department of Education employee who was obsessed with the Joker, the man in custody, a 60-year-old government worker with various pictures of homes on his desk, computer, his screen, raised suspicions from coworkers who contacted authorities. Authorities visited the guy at the home where he appeared to be under the influence of alcohol and drugs. He was arrested.
Department of Education? Is that what you said, or who?
Yes. A man in New York City from the Department of Education was taken into custody after professing James Holmes' obsession.
Wow. Okay. Well, that in and of itself is kind of frightening. But you're going to have people like that out there. We see people like that all the time. And folks, by the way, if we get cut off, it's not because we've been shot or VHS is blown in through the doors outside of our studio. It's rocking and rolling with thunder and lightning. So,
are you getting thunder?
Thunder?
Yeah. We live only, I don't know, 6 miles away from each other right now.
I wasn't going to tell people that you weren't, that you're AWOL from the studio today, but you are. I've got control of the board actually, so I can cut you off anytime. But no, So if anything does happen, it's because we're experiencing severe storms, and
we've been getting those all day.
Yes, we have. But the other thing too, and I want to mention this before I go off on this transcript here a little bit, is we are going to attempt to, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night, and I really haven't fully defined this with you, Joe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think tomorrow we're going to attempt to be on video as well as audio tomorrow night.
Possibly, yes. I have been. I'm supposed to get a hold of Cuban, Troy. And he was going to help walk me through the details of how Pastor Begley and how Radio Preacher Man live stream their video shows while doing the audio on Blog Talk Radio. I have not had the chance to call him yet, and I am going to do that. And we are going to be back on video hopefully tomorrow night. So we'll be live streaming hopefully at our site or maybe just on Cuban on the YouTube channel plus the audio here. So we're going to try to get that in before the end of the week is over.
Yeah, and if not, if that doesn't work out, certainly next week. The reason we want to do this is because we do have visuals that we would like to offer as well, not just a couple of pretty faces, but excuse me. But so that's something that we want to let you know. All right. Now look. At 12:35 is when the estimated attack, 12:35 local time AM in Aurora on July 20th is when this reportedly started, okay? Tear gas, then shooting. 12:39 was the initial report of the shooting. At 12:41, the police were on the backside of the theater. Now, 16 minutes have passed from the initial canisters to the police responding. But, okay, now, which is a little different. Or I'm sorry, wait a minute, 12:30, yeah, 12:41, okay. 16, okay, I'm correct in that. They say we've got the back covered. And then at 12:44, I need a marked car behind the theater, Sable side, I've got a suspect in a gas mask. That's 12:44. Now remember that, 12:44, I need a marked car behind the theater, Sable side, I've got a suspect in the gas mask. Next, 12:45. Is that dude in the white car nearby? That white car, and I'm reading now directly from this transcript, that white car in the lot, is that the suspect? Yes, we've got rifles, gas masks. He's detained right now, and I've got open doors to the theater. There's nothing about him wearing tactical gear or having guns. 12:47.
Guns in the car, correct? From the last.
Anywhere on his person or in the car.
But okay, wait. I thought you just said the last person had guns. We have the suspect guns in the vehicle. But I thought that's what you said.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, correct. Yes. Okay. Let me reverse myself or go back here. 12:46. The white car in the lot, is that the suspect? Yes. We've got rifles, gas masks. He's detained right now, and I've got open doors to the theater. Okay. There's nothing about him wearing tactical gear, I should say. Okay. I should stop right there. 12:47. 2 victims on the east side, north of the theater. Need ambulance quick. 12:48. Southeast corner, exit covered. Discovered bodies in theater 9. 12:49, and this is where it starts to get really interesting. One of the shooters might be wearing a white and blue plaid shirt. That's 12:49. One of the shooters might be wearing a black and white plaid shirt. Now, this is the extraction, okay? There's a lot of stuff going on in between what I'm reading, but this is the important stuff. I've got a child victim and need a car at the back of Theater 9. Now, that corresponds, folks, with some reports of a young girl being kidnapped or somebody carrying a young girl, perhaps, or trying to kidnap a young girl, or perhaps even stabbing a young girl. Did you hear that, Joe?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. I've got a child victim and need a car at the back of Theater 9. 12:51. Suspect saying he's the only one, but I'm getting conflicting descriptions from witnesses here. Okay, now I'm going to go up here real quick.
Also, before you get into that, continue, there are witnesses, a couple of witnesses who were in the theater who were interviewed by different news stations who reported multiple tear gas containers being thrown from directions,
different
places that could not be done by one person.
Okay. Let me just really quickly go through this. Suspect, at 0110. The data, they get off running the license plate, Colorado, I'm not going to give the plate out over the air, sends them to an address, a different address than Holmes' residence. I'm not going to give out those addresses. Suspect all in black. Now this went over the air. Suspect all in black, black tactical mask, black tactical helmet, gas mask, at least one handgun, possible shotgun, possible long gun. Okay, now that is different than what we heard at 12:46, where there was no mention of any type of tactical gear. Now, it is obvious that the witness's description does not match what police encountered as they detained Holmes, the suspect. They're still looking for the guy the witnesses are describing. So they've got Holmes.
Yeah.
But they're still looking for the guy. The witnesses are the witnesses are saying, look, here's this guy. He's all in black. He's got a black mask. He's got a helmet. He's got a gas mask.
We discussed this.
Okay.
It does seem that there was, at the very least, I'm confident in saying there was a second person involved, whether the involvement was to get the door open, to throw a can of tear gas from a different direction for distraction. From what I understand, there was tear gas canisters in both theaters, 8 and 9. So that right there alone would say, obviously, because Holmes had never entered number 9, from what I understand.
Well, wait a minute. Holmes never entered. 9 is where all the shooting occurred.
Okay, well, the number 8 is where one or the other. There was canisters reported in 2 separate theaters. But
okay, well, at 1:18, the cruiser reports that they're going to the suspect's address. Now, this address is not Holmes' address, to do surveillance in the event that perhaps the perpetrators might be returning to the apartment. They confirm the license plate from key witnesses. Need to start quickly as possible. I'm going to move on here. Now, over the air, it's going to be a Hyundai Accent, Tennessee plates directly in front of the doors. Charcoal color, possible just the thermos, but it's covered up. Possible secondary device registered to an address out of Columbia, Tennessee. Clear, meaning that the plate came back no wants.
Yeah, but that Tennessee plate was that the suspect's car?
Well, now, okay, that's up for debate. I don't know.
I've heard people report it as such, which leads to the question: what connections to Tennessee does this man even have? Which was done?
Well, that's true, and we have to dissect this in a way where, we could easily make some speculations here, but I don't want to do that. But now here is the money phrase here in my estimation. At 1:55 in the morning, this went over the radio. This from a cruiser at the scene. The officer says, and I quote, "It sounds like we have possibly two shooters. One, and now this, Joe, this goes to you. One that was in theater number 8 and one that came in from the outside theater 9. It sounds like it was a coordinated attack." End of quote.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At 2:06, secondary device found in the main parking lot. 2:21, release fire truck from duty. 2:27, need dog to search suspect's car.
And right there, let me jump in. That the two shooters or the two people involved in this incident goes along with all first reports, goes along with what most people were describing and saying, goes along with what was being reported initially.
That's right.
And I know that, like you said yesterday, the fog of battle, the fog of war tends to make people think, things are different than what they actually are, different facts. It's hard to gauge a situation under so much terror and horror going on around you, but there were multiple sources reporting more than one person being involved in this from the beginning. Those people never backed down. The only people that backed down were the police, who, immediately, James Holmes, first name, that's it, really, to the public. We got our guy, and, his house is booby-trapped.
Well, I got to tell you this. I've only been shot at one time, and but I can tell you, that's all. Believe it or not,
you're a rookie. Jeez.
Yeah, and that was in 1979, and I'll tell you what, I remember that like it was yesterday. Okay, and I mean, there were bullets flying, and I got to tell you, but I could tell you just anything you want to know about that day. I mean, it is as clear as day. So it's not something, and I know that there's there's this fog that goes along with this, but when you're involved in a situation like this, you have a tendency that things get seared into your memory. But anyway, that's where I'm going to stop. At 2:28, there's a order to pay special attention to a charcoal hatchback, which is a reference to the Hyundai with Tennessee plates. That directing a bomb-sniffing dog to that car. Okay, so what we just went through, and I know that it was kind of quick and it's difficult to follow, but what we just went through basically is a litany, play-by-play.
Yeah.
That would tell you, or tell me, or tell us, or tells everyone that, hey, there's a second person involved. So things aren't what they say they are. Joe, let's go to calls. By the way, folks, if you want to call in, our call-in number is 661-244-9839. That's 661-244-9839. We have opened the phone lines, and we will take your calls.
Yeah, we have a full bag of callers, and I think we're going to start.
Let's go.
With Jeff in Massachusetts. Jeff, you're on with the Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
Thank you very much, Joe. And wait, know it, guys, because I do security work for a living, and I am a believer. You know what? I'm going to give you two perspectives on this case. Number one, if a situation like that happened and I was there in whatever place, you know what? The first thing I would do is duck, pray, duck, and find the exit door. And if I can take the person out with my hands, I'll do so. You know what? Before I knew the Lord, and Doug, you are so right on when it comes to the fog of war, because Doug, I experienced something similar to what you went through, but I wasn't shot at. This is before I knew the Lord. I was with a bodybuilder person, and he closed the shop. He had a lot of money on him, and he went to deposit the money in the bank. So I was in the passenger side of the seat. This guy put what appeared to be a .38 to my friend's face. I'm telling you something. My friend froze. I was in the passenger side of the seat. Now, I didn't know the Lord back then, so I opened up the door. I had a 3-point plan. It probably wouldn't have worked. I don't know, but I knew one thing: get the gun out of my friend's face, hit the back of the neck, and snap it. That's what I would aim for. That was what I was shooting for in my unsaved state. Now, if I was a believer, I would pray for God's protection. That's the difference. But you see, my point is, when a situation comes up, you have to have some kind of plan before you know what hits the fan. Because if you don't have any kind of plan and it hits the fan, you're going to panic. I would panic. Anybody would panic. But you see, whatever training you get kicks in the time of crisis. And if you're a believer, God will get you through that situation, because what you see in the movie theater is absolutely nothing compared to the coming jihad attacks on America. I mean, and that's all I have to say, guys. God bless you, and keep up the great work. I'm going to let other callers on.
Well, Jeff, thank you for an excellent call, and,
go ahead.
That just, continues to prove what we're talking about, that definitely situations are handled differently, depending on whether you are have the Lord as your personal savior versus if you don't, and you have that godlessness spirit.
I'm going to assume though he would act as well. I mean, not just pray, but act in addition to.
Yeah.
I suspect that's what he meant.
But how to act definitely will change based on what your personal belief and spirituality is. I know at least mine would. What I would do 10 years ago versus what I would do today are completely different.
Sure. I mean, not only does age kick in, wisdom with age and experience, but certainly the spiritual aspect of comfort.
Right.
I understand that. So okay.
We have a full bank of callers.
Let's take them. Let's take them. I'm blind on the switchboard. So go ahead.
All right, we're gonna go to area code 808. You're online with the Hagmann and Hagmann report.
Hey, hello, brother. I'm just listening. I appreciate it.
We'll put you back on hold. I'll write your number down, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, it's a lot of people do listen that way. So, folks, if we happen to catch in, you just want to listen, just listen, and we'll put you back in queue. And
it's funny. I have I just bought some new notebooks, and when I started this new notebook, the first thing I did was write down all the callers we get every night, trying to write down listener, caller, listener, caller, listener, caller. And I got a lot of numbers on here tonight that I haven't seen before. So if I do get to you and you are listening, like you said, just tell us so.
Yeah,
just back on hold. But I don't recognize some of these numbers, so I'm going to just go to them. Area code 704. You're on live with the Hagmann and Hagmann report. Area code 704.
Did you? You're up. All right, let's give that one a rest.
Okay, area code 732. You are on live with the Hagmann and Hagmann report. 732. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I was only listening, but I'll say something. I'm sitting in the dark right now. We have no electricity, and I just wanted to tell everybody to prepare, because it could happen. And I just placed a big order with a freeze-dry guy just 3 days ago. It's on its way, and just tell everybody to prepare, because you could be sitting in the dark without electricity and getting hungry also right now. So.
Is that because of weather, or did you forget to pay the bill?
No, it's weather related, and it wasn't even a big storm. It just came out of nowhere and just hit I guess a transformer or something. But the whole area is out right now, so I'm hoping it's not going to last too long because it's getting pretty hot over here. So.
Wow.
We hope you get your power back.
I want you to take care of yourself. And the freeze dry guy did. He is one of our. Well, he's our sponsor for this program.
I was on the phone with him. He kept me on the phone for at least a good half an hour, going everything I needed. And
there you go.
Just like you said, he is excellent, and I am so glad I did. I bought about 6 months worth of food for me and my wife and some kids that will probably run over here, even though they didn't want me to do anything about it. But I did that, and this week I pick up all the water I can, the big jugs, at the Home Depots and all that.
Yep.
And I already emptied my 401ks, and I bought silver. So I'm ready.
Well, thank you, caller, for informing us on your preparedness, and thank you for getting prepared because, as you know, when things do go bad, that'll be one less person or persons that will be out there, looking for refuge with the government or whatever,
Yeah, and when you're prepared,
are looking for that.
Yeah, and caller, do you feel better now, knowing that you're going to be you're going to be all prepped up, or you are prepped up?
To be honest with you, when I first emptied out my 401k, after that I was so relieved and relaxed. After I placed the food order, I was even more relaxed. I know that something's coming. I don't know what it will be, when it will start, but I do know that I'm feeling pretty good now. So I think everybody should be in my situation right now. I have, no fear. I know I'm going to be prepared. I know that my family will be protected somehow, at least a little bit, even for a couple of weeks, a couple of months. I have cash in the house. I think I took all you guys' advice and did everything so far. Hey, can I ask you something?
Let me ask you one last question before you ask me something or ask something. You have a Bible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's there. That completes your preps. But go ahead and fire away with your question.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you. I was going to call you a couple of days ago. I keep hearing this show on the radio from John Moore. He talks a lot about that 10th planet, I guess, Nibiru or something.
Yes, I listened to his. I know there's a 2-hour broadcast out now, but a listener prompted me to him about 2 days ago, and the day before yesterday, I listened to that first 40-some minute to an hour video or audio clip he did on that topic.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. He says first turnaround of this planet coming into the solar. I think it's already in the solar system, but coming around near the Earth is around August 17th and then September 26th, and this can cause a hell of a lot of trouble. He's also talking that all the shorelines are going to be underwater if this thing goes full blast. So I was just curious if you guys heard any of that kind of stuff.
Okay, let me Joe, you can have a stab at it after I do, because my answers are going to be really short. I don't know anything about it, and when I say I don't know anything about it,
I don't think he does.
I haven't tried.
Nibiru, Planet X.
Yes.
It had to do with Elenin, the comet Elenin last year. It's the 10th planet. People say that it has an orbit of 3,600 years, that it will come across around the Earth, either orbit around the Earth. It has some very strange orbit. You know what I think you did see on it, Dad, was the money from Switzerland, where it showed orbits and planets, and it had one orbit that was way out from all the other planets and came back in. It was kind of a very odd orbit. Well, a lot of people speculate that there's a planet Nibiru. Some think it's the planet Wormwood, or what is called Wormwood in the Bible.
Why are no amateur people with telescopes seeing this?
Okay, well, here's the big thing. There are amateurs with telescopes reporting seeing this, putting videos out there. Many of them are fake with using filters, and it ends up being a lot of reflections, lens flares of the original sun. There is not any real concrete evidence out there of this being there. It is still up for speculation, but honestly, what I feel, and I started, believing in this Nibiru, that it was out there and it will come at its designated time as the Lord wants it to. And I'm just not so sure anymore. There's been no concrete evidence. What this John Morris is saying is accurate for preparedness. He had a show, it was great on preparedness. He listed 10 things everybody must have in this short show. But I'm not sure on the Nibiru. If it comes, I'll be shocked. If it doesn't, I won't be surprised at all.
He really developed to. I started listening to him a few weeks ago, but he also said he has a lot of contacts in the military, and that where he said the military, a lot of their families were told that they would be giving like 2 weeks' notice to get out of the areas that are going to be hit as soon as this thing comes in, and they were told that they could be receiving notification within the next couple of weeks or a few months, and a lot of the stuff from the federal government was always to Denver, Colorado, because that the government is going to be on its way by around now, this time of the year. So.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, caller. We've heard so many reports from so many different people, so-called astronomers, amateur astronomers, scientists, alleged NASA leaks, that this thing would have already been visible in the sky, that this thing would have already caused pole shifts and tidal waves and wreaked havoc already. It seems like the date keeps getting delayed and delayed. And I'm not saying that the possibility for it there is not there, because we know as the planets and the satellites, different satellites like Iris and that are out there are finding it's more and more common to have binary star systems instead of single star systems like our solar system. But I'm just not seeing the real factual evidence there yet. But like I said, anything's possible.
Mention it to Steve Quell, because John Moore says that he talks so I haven't heard from him. But
yeah, we can definitely mention it to him.
So, all right, guys, that's about it.
All right, keep listening, and hope your power comes back on soon. My goodness.
Yeah, and
that would be uncomfortable.
Please let us know what you think about the freeze-dry guy food you get, how it tastes, and how that works out for you.
Yeah, that's a great job.
Obviously, they swear by it, but it came very highly recommended by you, by a couple other. I'm just glad I got it. Did you mention our name? Did you mention that you heard it on our show, or? Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Good.
But he asked how I heard from him, and I said, you guys. I heard from, other people also, but I heard it from you guys. I think that guy, John, Greg, talks about him a lot also. So.
Okay. Well, good. That's good. All right. Well, thanks, caller. Yeah, Joe, you know more about this stuff. I'm not even comfortable even talking about the Nibiru, because I don't know
Nibiru is the 10th planet, apparently. Yeah. It's scientists always wondered how Neptune, I think it was Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, the way that they had their orbit and gravitational pull, that there always had to be a bigger planet out there. You remember a planet, they used to call it Planet X?
Yeah, right.
It's the same thing.
I mean, this is going back into the Art Bell days of 95.
Right. There was an article from 1983 in either a newspaper or a scientific magazine talking about a new heavenly body discovered, and that is really where a lot of this comes from. And I'll have to send you the link, and we'll have to do this another day on for telling people about this who don't know. But
and here I thought they were talking about my wife, Emily. All right. Wow.
Okay, I want to get into this. There's two things here. This is off of Breitbart today. It revealed Corzine's MF Global was client of Eric Holder's law firm. And I don't know if you saw this. I'll post it in the chat room right now.
Again? Corzine what? Oh, it was
Corzine's MF Global was client of Eric Holder's law firm.
Right, but now Eric Holder, really, yeah.
It's just wondering why the DOJ has refused to go after or prosecute John Corzine for the evaporation of $1.6 billion in MF Global client funds needs to look no further than documents uncovered by the Government's Accountability Institute that reveals that the now defunct MF Global was a client of Attorney General Eric Holder and Assistant Attorney General Lynn Brewer's former law firm, Covington and Burling.
Yeah, again, I've got mixed feelings on this. The fact that there were clients of that law firm, obviously it's a smoking gun, but in and of itself, is that enough to really? I think that's one piece of many pieces. By itself, yeah. But I'm not sure that would be because the Holder doesn't have any more. There's nothing to do with this law firm anymore. But if you want to get into it, I'm trying to think of who else worked with Holder as well.
Along with Holder, it says that Assistant Attorney General Lanny Brewers.
Yeah, Lanny Brewer. And okay, so look,
and it also goes on to say that the records reveal MF Global trustees for the Chapter 11 bankruptcy retained as its general bankruptcy counsel Morrison and Forrester, the very law firm from which Associate Attorney General Tony West came to the DOJ.
Exactly. Okay, now we're getting into some real conflicts here when you've got the trustees that are.
Yeah, and it gets deeper.
Yes.
It says, and more. As Government Accountability Institute President Peter Schweizer explains in the Washington Times Thursday, the trustee overseeing MF Global's bankruptcy is former FBI Director Louis Freeh.
Louis Freeh. Yeah, can you believe that?
At Holder's Senate confirmation hearing, Freeh served as a character witness for Holder and revealed that Holder had previously worked for Freeh as general counsel.
Correct. Okay, now that's right. But just the fact that there was a client attorney relationship, that's fine. But there's more. Everything else that you said definitely does suggest that there's a huge conflict of interest there. But ultimately, there's no question that Corzine should be in jail. No question whatsoever. Or when I say jail,
he should be long gone. To think that this man, this is like me opening a bank for businesses, farmers, people in the community who have important community services and products, and starting a bank, taking their money, and right before, especially the farmers' time, to take their money out to buy their seed and feed, etc., taking all their money and using it to my personal casino losses or gambling debts and getting away with it because I'm, part of the mayor's staff or, his attorney it's just complete crony corruption at its best, government-run mafia, criminals with passes. I could steal $10 out of somebody else's bank account, and I could be put in jail and have a record for the rest of my life. Yet this man can steal $1.2 billion, and because he's an Obama donor and fundraiser and a scoundrel and snake, just like the rest of them, he gets to walk free. Not only that, does he continue his high lifestyle of living off the people's money he stole, and he is a puppet of the bankers, and he is also an enemy of the Republic.
It's we could do an entire show on John Corzine.
And somebody in the chat room, states he was Goldman Sachs' top guy. Yes, he was also the governor of New Jersey. This man has been in positions of high places of power, yet is as crooked as they come, like most of the politicians we see today. That being one of the key problems is why we see our country tanking without a constitution anymore. It's being destroyed little by little, a lot of, at a time, because we have these crooks who want to rewrite the laws to better serve them instead of serving the millions of people who they were elected to serve.
Well said. And don't forget that Corzine's chief of staff, or chief of staff when he was in New Jersey, is Lisa Perez Jackson, who's now part of the or head of the Environmental Protection Agency. And
and I know
EPA, she's a dangerous person.
And I know we go over this a lot, but we have a couple minutes before break. We have a president who has been pretty much disbarred because of forgery on lying to the Illinois Bar Association. His name is not even Barack Obama. His name is Barry Soetoro, as indicated by his Indonesian school records. So we have a true usurper in office. This man is a traitor and an imposter, should not even be president. We have Eric Holder, who wants to brainwash people, into radically thinking about guns in a different way. Promoting gun control, promoting destroying the Second Amendment, while sending 20,000 plus guns to Mexican drug cartels to attack the Second Amendment. Also involved in Oklahoma City, we have Hillary Clinton, who panders to the Muslim Brotherhood, who is a globalist snake weasel at the highest level. We have Janet Napolitano. I could say a lot of mean things about her, and I won't, because it's not important
here.
But she is the SS chief, Gestapo leading Department of Homeland Security head, who invites terrorists into this country as if they are some special, foreign leader. At the same time, you or me would try to go to the White House or the State Department for a meeting with one of our representatives or elected officials, and would probably be arrested and beaten by police. Yet they take these known terrorists, known people from known foreign domestic terrorism agencies listed by our government, and invite them into the White House, and then they go and put them in high positions of power inside the DHS. These people are globalist, corrupt sickos at the highest level, and this is why our country is in such shambles. The satanic influences that run with these people, the pedophilia in some cases, like we see with the Penn State scandal. They took away all Joe Paterno's wins because he knew and did not stop Jerry Sandusky from raping little boys and pimping them out to donors for money. And so many of these universities, so many of these groups of people, judges, police, all child service workers, departments of the, in the Pentagon, CIA, Blackwater, horror stories from all of them taking people's children who have been taken away by CPS and using them for sex slavering. This is something that I'm still afraid to really get into because it is so disgusting and dirty. But it is.
It's very. What you just said there. There is more to this pedophilia. There's more to these small children being kidnapped, or these young people being kidnapped, including Penn State. I was talking with someone yesterday about this very issue, who said, look, it was not really super well known, but known well enough. If you had enough money, you could actually rent, perhaps is the word, a young boy through this Sandusky network.
Especially if you were a booster, a backer of the football program. That was one of the ways they repaid you, by giving you one of the young boys that they had there at camp.
As disgusting as that sounds.
Evil at its darkest. Joe Paterno, whatever his involvement is, I hope he prayed for his salvation from the Lord, because if not, he is going to burn in hell with the worst of them.
Well, and before the break, I just want to say that it's interesting as we go through and we investigate different issues, different departments of within their government and various government actions, agencies, and non-governmental agencies, how big of a role that this plays, that pedophilia plays, and even the occult and satanic type of activity. I thought it was overblown, and I thought, no, come on, this is not true, but it is true. It's
sickening.
It's disgusting. It really is.
And what's even worse is that this goes on such a much larger scale. I think, 1 in 6 children are now sexually abused. The stats are 1 in 6.
It's growing. I mean,
and that's reported.
Yeah, it's beyond belief. Folks, you're listening to Doug and Joe Hagmann on the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. Want to hear from you? 661-244-9839 after the break. That's 661-244-9839. Thank you very much for spending your Thursday evening with us. Today, of course, live broadcast, 26th day of July 2012. We're right back after these messages. Hi, folks. Doug Hagmann here. You might know me as the co-host from the Hagmann and Hagmann Report, or as a frequent guest on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. If you're like me, you're tired and confused over today's headlines. You just don't know where to turn for accurate, concise information about really what's going on, what's truly going on in today's society. If you don't know where to turn for accurate, well-researched, and properly vetted news, I've got a suggestion. In fact, it's a requirement. Bookmark Canada Free Press. That's CanadaFreePress.com on the Internet. It's just not for Canada. It's for news across the world. Judy McLeod, founding editor, has put together a vast array of talented writers like Kelly O'Connell, Daniel Greenfield, Dr. Eilena Johnson-Powell, a lot of guest columnists, very talented writers. Folks, that's Canada Free Press at CanadaFreePress.com. Now mobile friendly. Follow on Facebook, because without America, there is no free world.
Survival of the fittest. In any and all situations, survival is your #1 priority. That requires being tough and thinking smart. And the folks at Freeze Dry Guy are going to help you do just that. They have the long-range patrol ration entrees, what they call the Brick Pack. When you're in survival mode, it is absolutely the best item for your survival pack or bug-out bag. You can go farther, faster, and carry more food with the LRP cold weather ration entrees. Not only do these long-lasting, durable entrees help sustain you or your family through the harshest environment or situation, they are by far the most delicious of their kind. No contest. With a variety of tasty entrees, you can't beat the LRP Brick Packs. Let Freeze Dry Guy help you in your survival situations. Go to freezedryguy.com. That's freezedryguy.com. Or call 866-404-3663. That's 866-404-FOOD.
Doug Hagmann. One guy that doesn't need a bullhorn to get your attention.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special Thursday edition of the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. I say very special because every day is special. It's a gift from God, and every day that we are able to talk with you folks, to converse, to talk about the important news of the day is, and every day that you join us, it's a blessing. It really is.
And I got to say, in our town here, we have there's this one business that has 2 billboards in high traffic areas, and he always has inspirational messages on this billboard. And the last time, he keeps them up for a couple weeks. The last time it said, there is nothing to fear from the truth. And
wow.
This time, this round, it says, we are not guaranteed a tomorrow. And, that stuck out of me because that's something we always say, and that is the truth. We are not guaranteed tomorrow. We are only guaranteed what we have right now. at the time we have now. And what is important is that we utilize the time we have now to further the Word of God and further our own self-improvement and helping those around us. And I mean, really, what else do we have left? We have the government taking away everything that we hold dear to us, which is our Constitution, the attack on Christianity, on self-reliance. So really, all we have is our livelihoods right now, our ability to help other people, and this fellowship we have with this show and with many other shows like Pastor Begley's show and Radio Preacher Man.
Yeah, what great shows.
Yeah, the people that listen to all our shows and their shows and have this fellowship, they know it's special because I feel it's special, and we're lucky to have that.
Yeah, I feel very, very close to them as well, and we're very fortunate. I wanted to get into something just very quickly here. We get reports, again, from status reports, situational reports from different areas in Syria last month that the United States backed, and they are described as rebels. Now, to me they're terrorists, but U.S.-backed rebels are committing Christian genocide in Syria.
I saw that.
Okay, they're sacking churches, issuing threats to all Christians, that all Christians will be cleansed from their territory. A mass exodus of thousands of Christians is taking place, or did take place in June and continues to this day, even as mainstream Western reporters like Robert Fisk demonize those same Christians for being supportive of the secular regime. Well, boy, and this is Obama-backed, United States-backed rebels, if you will, that are essentially killing the Christians in Syria. And we've got this going on in Nigeria now, where they're poisoning. Yeah, and Egypt, okay? The Muslim Brotherhood blockaded entire streets, preventing the Coptic Christians from voting at gunpoint. Now, this is what Obama has given us. This is, and I say Obama, I'm talking about everyone around him as well. They've threatened Christian families not to let their children go out and, or threaten the Christian families with their children if they would go out to vote. The State Department, in an unprecedented move, purged the sections dealing with religious persecution from its recently released country reports on human rights. So not only are we involved, not only is this administration involved in this, this is an all-out war against Christianity. They're purging sections of they purged sections, of the recently released country reports on human rights so that they would not have to admit this or report on this. And it's just church attacks have increased exponentially for the month of June. Egypt, Indonesia, Iran, Kashmir, Kazakhstan, Nigeria, Sudan, Turkmenistan, all of these. In Egypt, by the way, a Christian student handing out Christian literature in one of the universities there, he raised the ire of Muslim students, and that resulted in this clash on the campus. And ultimately there were some deaths that were involved in that, and it's crazy. Iran, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, and even in the United States, 2 Christian men in St. Louis, Missouri, they received death threats. Now think about this: 2 guys in St. Louis received death threats from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard for converting to Christianity and preaching it. One of the men formerly served in the Revolutionary Guard and was even assigned a suicide mission against Israel before converting and immigrating to the United States. So this is happening right under our noses here.
Yeah.
And it's a religious war. This is a religious war. This is a war against Christians and Jews.
Yes.
And I received an email I wanted to mention this again. I spoke about this last night, but I received an email. Well, where does where do the Muslims fit into the New World Order? You talk about the New World Order, but you don't explain. Well, what about Muslims? Well, look, okay, hardcore socialists, communists, progressives, and Islam. They're working together because they both hate Israel. They both hate the Jews. They're working together because they are the common enemy of capitalism and the Western way of life. They're working together to overturn relatively stable countries because in the status quo, which, back with Mubarak and before that, they were ostracized from power. So, these are the pieces of the global puzzle. But when the New World Order people get done with the Muslims, it's everything's going to be secularized. But they're using the Islamic religion to turn us into ultimately a secular state. But the one world order, this is a tool of the globalists, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah.
That's that. But
moving
wow.
on to a separate topic here, we'll work our way back into this. Kids hot dog stands shut down by city officials before it's even open.
Yes.
And this caught my eye because this guy was not out making a hot dog stand to get money for himself to have a mountain bike or to raise funds for something he wanted to do. He was doing this because he was trying to help his parents who had a disability.
Both of his
disabilities, yeah. His parents, his mom has epilepsy and his dad has multiple sclerosis, so he decided to open a hot dog stand. He saved $1,200, mostly made by mowing lawns and shoveling snow. He checked with the city to make sure he didn't need a license or permit, even going to City Hall in person with his mom. Then he bought a cart.
Where is this
that's
again?
The hot dog.
I read this right before my head hit the keyboard. I was reading about this. Where was this at?
Let's see. Where was this at? This was in...
And the parents did the research, too. They went to the city officials and they said, look, what permits do we need? They went to the... They helped this young boy, 13 years old or whatever he is. They helped him to the extent that they could. Again, they're not immobile, but they're on disability status, multiple sclerosis and epilepsy. Pretty bad case of it too.
Yeah, it says it goes on to say.
No, but we know where. Because I read it and I can't remember what city it was in.
I'm not seeing it here.
All right.
It goes on to say he arrived to set up shop on his first day, and 10 minutes later, a zoning official arrived to shut him down. The problem, the cart, which was in the parking lot of the sporting goods store, is on the edge of official downtown commercial district of Holland, Michigan. There you go.
There
Holland,
we go.
Michigan.
Thank you.
The city bans food carts in that area in order to minimize competition for the 8 tax-paying restaurants a couple of blocks away.
Yeah, they're 2.5 blocks away from the sporting goods store where this young man wanted to set up the cart. And that's right, because they're saying, well, look, we can't have mobile food carts because that would bring in the lunch trucks and stuff. It's
ridiculous. When we travel, we stop at hot dog stands every once in a while. It's real quick, it's easy, and you got a special taste for hot dogs. Especially we have all kinds of different places that make these crazy hot dogs. I'm sure you guys have them where you live too. When I say crazy, I mean all different.
They're cheap.
They might as well be.
You can eat them or go.
They call them like the same flavors as subs. They just put the same things on, then add a hot dog. But but people trying to do something. This kid is trying to do something good for his parents who didn't have the ability to do it for themselves, and we're not getting help from the necessary resources. So a kid, goes out to start a business after acquiring and going to the proper authorities to make sure it was okay to do so. So it's not a case of somebody setting up even a lemonade stand without talking to City Hall or the proper authorities. They went through the proper procedures, only still to be shut down. in this poor family, this kid. Maybe we should reach out to these guys and
Well, you know what I was thinking of this morning? Again, it was like middle of the night when I was reading this. What I was thinking about this morning is, wouldn't it be great for those 8 restaurants to get together and say, look, for the purposes of this young man who wants to sell the hot dogs there, let's opt out of, let's have the council waive the ordinance, because the ordinance was there to protect the tax-paying restaurants that are brick and mortar restaurants that aren't going to go anywhere. And certainly, if they signed off, these 8 restaurants said, "Look, it's all right. Just let this young man have his way, and do his be an entrepreneur." I think that'd be great, and I think that would show a lot of class by those 8 restaurants, because 8 restaurants, 8 brick and mortar restaurants. The city is so afraid of losing the tax revenue from those brick and mortar places. That's what it's all about.
And one of the things also, these big corporations, what we see is their profit margin. If 10% of the people stopped giving Walmart, these big department stores, business, they would have to shut down or change prices or do something drastically, because their margin of profit is only like 5%, 10% of their business, and then if that's gone, then they're in the red. And what I've noticed is I've moved into an apartment in the last 4 months, and I like going to places in my neighborhood, my local economy here, as it's called, and I'd rather pay extra. Just to give you an example, as a wedding present, my mom knitted us a very nice sign that she wanted to get framed for us, to put in our house, and she wanted to go to a bigger department store to do that. And right down the street, we have a business called You Frame It, and it is a local.
That's
business.
right, it's a local business.
Well, we took the business there, and I do that. I like to do that with.
We do that all the
in our
time.
Community, and we need to support our local business owners in our community, not the big Walmarts, not the big department stores, but instead find the same services that are in your local community by local business owners. That is what helps your local economy, not spending money at these Walmarts to save a few bucks to, get something worth half the value when you're paying only, 25% less of the price.
That's and I totally agree with that. All right, on to a couple other things. I wanted to mention this. Drug money funds voter fraud in Kentucky. This is just a crazy story. Voter fraud has developed a new meaning there, apparently, because in some cases, major cocaine and marijuana dealers admitted to buying votes to steal elections.
Was this the buying the dead vote or the dead? Did you see that?
This was the government. This is where the 2 people were convicted, because there are like 3 or 4 cases going on at the same time. This is in Kentucky. This is where people were convicted.
Drug money funds voter fraud.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And okay, now, so, but the thing is, this was an extremely organized, very extensive operation involving hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in many cases, again, it goes back to the drug money.
Yeah, it's crazy. Drug money funds voter fraud in Kentucky. Voter fraud was has a shocking new meaning in eastern Kentucky. That is where, in some cases, major cocaine and marijuana dealers admitted to buying votes to steal elections. As the result is the corruption of the American democracy. The government continues to met out justice in the scandal. 2 people convicted in April in a vote-buying case face sentencing this week, and another public official pleaded guilty Tuesday to conspiracy. And it says, we believe that the drug money did buy votes. Kerry Harvey, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Kentucky, said in a separate vote-buying case.
Yeah.
Drug money. Funding dead votes.
That's right.
This is what we have in this country.
And that's with a collusion.
Yeah.
Collusion of the people in power.
Yeah. It's It's sickening, and this fraud is going to continue. And unfortunately, we have Mitt Romney and Obama. Hopefully, Ron Paul will as much attacks as we've seen on him, media attacks, people saying he's not going to be on the ballot. He's making deals with Romney so his son can be VP. And it ended up being a pretty much an inside job from his campaign staff. He's going to be in Tampa. He's still going to try to be a factor from what I can read. I don't put my hope into any politician anymore.
No,
obviously they can't fix the problem.
Steve Quayle says there's no political solution to a spiritual problem.
And that's correct. There is no political solution to a spiritual problem, and there is no political solution to a personal problem. There is no spiritual problem that doesn't involve you making a change. There is none of your problems that you can solve without making some kind of change in either it could be a change in your perception to view it not as a problem but as a blessing, or there's a whole train of thought, a positive train of thought that helps people with different situations. And I've learned, as I'm sure many of you had, you make the best out of whatever situation you're in, and it's all about how you view things. You could view things, as your car broke down. Oh man, my car broke down, poor me. Or you can, go to the train of thought, well, it's a problem of privilege. At least I have a car that has.
That's right.
We need to be more grateful for what we do have.
Now, listeners, how would you like to receive an email from Joe and I that says this? About from the Hagmann and Hagmann report. How would you like to receive this email? I'm the signer on this. Hey, my upcoming birthday next week could be the last one that I celebrate as co-host of the Hagmann and Hagmann report. But that's not up to me. That's up to you. This July deadline is our most urgent yet, after coming after 2 consecutive months of being significantly down in contributions. If you pitch in $3 or whatever you can before midnight tonight, you and a guest will automatically be entered to join me at my birthday get-together next month.
Who's this for?
Now, me. Now, listeners, how would you like to get an email like that from me? Okay. Again, let me go through this real quick. My
$3 contribution could get a dinner with you.
Oh, wait a second. No. They could get a chance for a dinner with me.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, here you are, a listener. You're at your computer, and it says email from Hagmann and Hagmann, but it's from Doug Hagmann, and I say, yeah, my upcoming birthday next week could be the last one I celebrate as co-host of the Hagmann and Hagmann report. But that's not up to me. That's up to you. Because after 2 consecutive months of being significantly down in terms of raising contributions, it's pretty tough. But if you pitch in $3 or whatever you can before midnight tonight, you and a guest will automatically be entered to join me at my birthday get-together next month.
Yeah, please don't donate to the show thinking that's the case because we're talking about it.
No, this is a take off of what we got in, or what I got in, because I'm on like a lot of mailing lists. I like to see what people are doing.
Yeah.
This actually is coming from the Obama, Barack Obama. He signs it. Actually, obviously changed the wording to fit the topic, but it said
$3.
$3. So yeah, but it's gonna be you gotta
be entered for a chance to eat dinner or lunch with Barack Obama for $3.
Yeah, for $3, right?
Wow.
And it gives you a secure website to donate at, and it even has this. It's HTTPS, donate.barackobama.com/my-birthday. And it says, thanks. I hope I'll see you soon, Barack.
And you remember the stuff he pulled? I remember it was right around the time I was getting married, June 23rd, around that date, where he said, for your wedding gift, have your registry put in contributions for us and give us your wedding gift. Instead of taking it for yourself and going on your honeymoon or whatever you need for your new marriage.
I'm going to tell you, Obama is probably the most adept at one thing they're good at is using the internet for this kind of stuff for fundraising, but also for disinformation and for misinformation, but especially for fundraising.
Did you see the story about him doing a commercial on the West Wing of the White House for advertising and fundraising?
No, and I would think that would be.
Well, he did do it.
Tacky, but
he used the West Wing to further.
That's against
advertising.
FEC. I believe that's against the FEC regulations. I don't think you can use the White House to do that.
You can't, and nobody cares. It is just like fits the perfect model of what happens with Obama. He does something illegal, and people cheer for him. Nobody. I mean, the Obama supporters who are still supporting Obama, and I see like I think 2 signs in our town that I've seen more Ron Paul billboards, like 20 to 1.
And the further I'll tell you what, the further you go out into the country, and I've noticed this in New York State as well as Pennsylvania, and even Ohio, in the rural areas, I've seen more Ron Paul signs than anything. It's like, where'd these come from?
Even my old neighbor, Gail, husband Al.
Yeah.
He's got a big Ron Paul sign out in his yard. And that shocks me. He's not an awake kind of person. He's old Marine. He's kind of political, but to see that, I was like, wow, Ron Paul's word must really be getting out. And we're not promoting, any political candidate really, but if we're going to have a president, I guess I'd take Ron Paul over Mitt Romney or Obama in a heartbeat. But just it's more about the truth movement and how far it's spread.
Well,
the candidate.
It goes back to the billboard, and this is what we attempt to do every night, every day and every night, is just to bring you the truth. As we do the research, we bring you the truth, and it's all about truth. And we're to the point now where what's the confidence level in the government? Nothing.
Right. Nobody trusts the government. Nobody trusts what they say. Nobody trusts, even if they say they're going to do something, nobody trusts that they're going to stick to their word.
And speaking of trust, I don't know whether folks you heard about this, but senators have included an amendment in the cybersecurity bill that would limit the purchase of high-capacity gun magazines for some consumers.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I think we covered this in the beginning. I'm not sure though. Not sure, but I did.
Look, so they're going to sneak in stuff like this in the back door, and you think that lame Congress, don't bet on it. Watch out. That's when they're most dangerous.
We are going to take a few calls now. If you guys want to get into this conversation, we got a half hour left of the show. The number is 661-244-9839. That's 661-244-9839. Feel free to call in and just jump in on any topic we've discussed or any topic we haven't discussed. Right now, we're going to go to the phone lines, area code 509. You're online at the Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Excellent. How are you?
Good. Doug, I've been a fan of your website since right after the 9/11 attacks, somewhere in there, 2001, early 2002.
Yes, sir.
I think you've always done a good job.
Thank you. Is there? I sense there was a butt in there. Okay.
So did I.
No, not at all. I listen to you guys all the time. I've never called you though, so.
Well, I'm glad you did. What's your question? I'm glad you called. What's on your mind?
Your timeline got me thinking. The mom's statement came out at what, 5:22 San Diego time?
The mother for the...
So the media was already alerted to the son's identity by then?
Oh, yes,
the Colorado shooter, correct?
Right. We're going back to the Colorado Aurora. Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fine. 5:22. Okay, all I have in front of me are the notes from the transcription from the car to car and car to dispatch.
I thought it was 6 minutes, 6:22 possibly, that they identified him on the police scanner, but I'm going to check right now for you.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. We'll go ahead. What's okay? So, regardless of the time, what is that? What's your? Where are we going with this?
Well, I just thought the shooter was identified awful quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, wake up yesterday morning or the morning before, and somebody was down in Florida or something shooting, and that was 6 hours later, and they hadn't released his identity.
Yeah, that's a very good observation. That's an extremely good observation that I didn't even, quite frankly, I didn't even think of.
They say 4 minutes and 30 seconds into the 911 timeline, the suspect was caught, and at 17 minutes, his name, James Holm, was named. But seconds before they were talking about this, a second suspect got loose or got away, as it's stated.
Right. So, but caller, I think what you're saying is the family notification and subsequent identification was pretty quick, compared to other events of this nature. And I think you're right.
Right. And it was as quick as like when Breitbart died. Before the coroner could even look at his body, they ruled it heart failure. These kind of anomalies that like when on 9/11 they blamed Osama bin Laden before they had any clue. It's this kind of pattern we see when the media comes out with a story as they know the story really before it unfolds. That is a huge indicator as to they really set something up.
Yeah. Well, caller, what's your thoughts on this? You must have developed some thoughts. What are you thinking here?
The other thing I noticed, guys, is all of his pictures, aren't his eyes just extremely dilated?
There's a few pictures that even were pointed out to me by friends I have and listeners of the show who say some of the pictures of him don't even look the same. But yes, his eyes all look very different. Sometimes they look dilated. Sometimes they look he looks out of it, like you can see through him. And a mentor of his has admitted to him being under some kind of mind manipulation also. And we talked about this before as well.
And caller, I'll say this: I spoke with a forensic psychologist. Again, I cannot name this person yet, who said that typically, not this person is very well known, but typically, for example, when one is arrested, they would not give him any medication. They would not drug him.
No, especially not before court.
Well, yeah, at any time. So there's something else here. I don't know what it is.
Keep digging, guys. You're doing a good job.
Well, God bless you. Thank you for calling, and thanks for listening, and thanks for...
One more quick question.
Sure.
Either one of you guys got a German Shepherd?
Yes,
I do. Yeah. We both do, actually, kind of.
Good deal. I'm sitting two myself.
If you've been to our website, Northeast Intelligence Network at Homeland Security, or you look at our show page on Blog Talk Radio and Team K9 YouTube, we use him as our mascot.
Yeah, that's actually a picture of our German Shepherd.
That's cool.
His name is King, and he's a real dog. Those are our pictures we took, and
he's got King.
He's got that attitude. But
good deal.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Guys. Thank you.
All righty. Yeah. Wow.
Excellent call. I'm just shocked at the level of quality of calls we get on a nightly basis. They are always wonderful with excellent messages, excellent questions, and I am just very excited that our audience is so in tune with what's really going on in the world. Praise God that they have the ability to have that understanding, because as all of us know who try to help other people get this understanding are stonewalled, and truly we are looked after by the Lord as He has granted us the ability to have this deeper understanding and wisdom that so many lack.
Wow, that is true. And I could not... honestly, I couldn't imagine, sitting and spending a couple of hours with two guys, unless you really were listening to us. it takes a thirst for knowledge, a thirst for an interest, a commitment to find out what's going on. Not that we have all the answers, because we certainly do not. And
No.
I'm not trying to elevate us to any level, except to say that, you spend 2 hours doing anything, listening to anyone. You want to find new information. It's an investment of your time, and we realize that with our listeners. And what you're saying is it shows via the callers, the quality of the callers, and I think that's absolutely correct.
Yeah, and I want to remind everybody, tomorrow we are going to, I would like, hopefully somebody would like to call in and lead us in a prayer as to the beginning of the Olympics, yes, that we all are safe, the people in London are safe, the athletes, the organizers, the people who are innocent in this evil world, as we are unsure as to what type of, if any, nefarious and evil death plans they have for either people in London or abroad during this time we are going into. But
yeah, and I'm not sure whether you saw Pastor Begley's 10-minute video today about the Olympics. And Kevin Troy had sent some information. A couple of people had sent this to Pastor Paul Begley today, where I'm gonna screw this up, but Pastor Paul Begley's got a video, 10-minute video about the Olympics, and there's a reference to come to Potter's Field, which is where the opening ceremonies are going to take place. Well, if you look at the date,
the significance of the Potter's Field, first of all,
Matthew 11
was crucified. Judas sold Jesus for 30 pieces of silver.
Right.
What he did was give the silver back, and it was put to the Potter's Field. It was put toward the Potter's Field, the valley, or the field of death, or the field of blood, as it's called. And the Potter's Field being named this in the Olympics is very eerie, because and I wish Pastor Begley was on here so he could describe it, because he is.
You'll have to go to the video, folks. Just look up, or just go on Pastor Begley's video channel and watch the 10-minute video.
Paul Begley 34 is his YouTube channel.
Right, and I'll tell you, it's something to think about, because there, if you look back with the Illuminati cards back in the 90s, showing Big Ben toppling, and then all of these coincidences with respect to now the Potter's Field that Pastor Begley, and thanks to his listeners, had notified him of, and what have you. Whether or not anything happens in London, I don't know if it will, but none of this stuff can be. You can't. Coincidences. There's too many coincidences here.
Yes, there is. And these things add up. And when you look at the bigger picture, it looks like a black op psyop situation. Like you said, I'm not even sure that this Holmes is the shooter any more than a patsy. And it'll be interesting to see, because what we get is reports from, he's in jail, but he's going crazy, spitting on guards, and had to put a face mask on because he couldn't control himself, asking how the Batman movie ended, then not talking at all, looking in the courtroom like he was so drugged out of his mind he didn't know where he was or who he was. Now he's saying, why am I here? What did I do? What's going on? Telltale signs of mind control, whether he's very educated on the subject to play an insanity defense, or, as evidence points to, he could have been used as a patsy. He could have been the shooter with somebody else and been used as a patsy as well. So,
yeah, it's again, this is something. This whole situation. I'm looking at this, and Joe too. We're digging around, and this is why we have not written anything about this yet. But I do believe, Joe, I think we're going to collaborate on something here after the show, and probably pull at least a half a nighter, all nighter maybe, about this, because we do need to get this out, because we do believe that I think we've got enough information now, enough authenticated information to say with a level of certainty.
Speak for yourself on the all-nighter. I'm definitely pulling an all-nighter, but it's going to be in my bed. I'm kidding.
Man, I'll tell you. See, I got to do this alone. No, I know, but I think what we have here is enough authenticated documentation and enough evidence to show that there was a second person involved. Now, to what end? To where this, where this all fits into the larger scheme of things, I don't know. And I'm not sure. That's all speculation. But please, there's something about this. And now, does this mean, and I've been getting emails too after last night's program, because our program content appeared on a forum on the internet, and I've been getting emails saying, well, that would mean the Aurora Police Department would have to be in on this, and no, it wouldn't. No, folks, it doesn't have to be.
Now, if they're going to do a black operation like that, trust me, they're going to have agents, CIA, government officials whisking people away before police even arrive. They have this stuff planned out. They know what they're doing.
Exactly.
These people are hired professional mercenaries, killers, deceptive leaders. They know what they're doing.
You caught me drinking. I'm sorry, taking a drink. You're go longer than that. Just drinking some coffee here, but yeah, you're right. But see, so the Aurora Police Department, they look. They don't. Yeah, it could happen. It's like the magic show right in front of you. It does not have to involve the entire police department or even police.
Yes.
Necessarily.
A few other pieces of information I wanted to touch on tonight before we got away. Here is. Breaking: Syrian rebels threaten to attack Russian naval base. Syrian rebels have threatened to attack Russia's naval base at the port of Tartus in Moscow, or if Moscow continues to supply weapons to President Assad's regime. We have a warning for the Russian forces: if they send any more weapons that kill our families and the Syrian people, we will hit them hard inside Syria, said Lawe al-Muqaddad, a logistical coordinator for the Free Syrian Army. Al-Qaeda. This is crazy. So now, no wonder Russia's getting involved in this. When you have Al-Qaeda, threatening to overthrow Syria's government, as they have overthrown Libya's, Egypt's, Tunisia's, they're going for Iran. They've massacred millions in Libya and in Syria. And it is not going to stop. Al-Qaeda is behind this. Our CIA is behind this. And now it's no wonder Russia wants to back up Syria and China wants to back up Syria, because they're being attacked by Al-Qaeda. It's not rebel forces. The majority of the Syrian people stand with their leader.
Can you imagine something being so evil that Russia and China would put a stop to it?
And they're being the good guys in this.
That's what I mean.
It's
something
crazy.
So evil.
Our government is Al-Qaeda. Our government is the liars, the killers, the stealers, the cheaters. Our government are the ones perpetrating these problems on these other countries that have led to hundreds of thousands of deaths, if not millions of deaths, in the last year and a half.
Yeah, it's how we got on the wrong side of this. Well, look, the Muslim Brotherhood, it's making the rounds in the news. DHS Advisory Council member Mohammed Ali Biari, he was named with the DHS Advisory Council back in October of 2010, I believe it was.
How we got on the wrong side of this? Well, we had international bankers and people like Rothschild family, globalist banking interests take over our government at the most fundamental levels, and have infiltrated and taken that completely over now to where our whole military-industrial complex is controlled by peoples who have the best interest, or their interest, of creating a new world order, a one-world, Luciferian, satanic, globalist community where they can usher in Lucifer as the god of peace and as the god of light. And also, a few of our listeners have had dreams about the blue beam rapture, the fake alien invasion, the fake satanic rapture, followed by Jesus' return immediately after. And I believe that is going to happen.
Yeah, we are so infiltrated. We are so much on the wrong side of things right now. We are so guided by this, as you say, the Luciferian cult. And I don't know what else to call it.
I'll give you some specifics. A good friend and a listener to the show had a dream that there was the rapture.
Okay.
And people were saying, "Come out of their house. Come out. The Lord is here. He's taking us away." She got the feeling in her dream, this is not the Lord, because as the Lord says, many will say, I am here, I am there, come here,
right.
And they will be deceivers and liars. And she got that feeling, and she said she was trying to warn people, do not go to this, do not go, this is not real. And Jesus was so furious by the level of people that were falling for this, that he came down in a tornado and ended everything. And when it says, it will take 1 hour, in the Bible, I believe that to be true. There was also a video sent to me by this lady who was made by another lady who had the same type of dream.
Right.
And it's these
I've been
people
getting
are having,
that. I've been getting
the Watchmen are having these dreams.
And as I think I mentioned that. I'm just not going to go there. But the Watchmen have look. I believe that some of the Watchmen, or I shouldn't say I believe, it's been told to me that some of the Watchmen will be called home.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about a rapture either. I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I want to say, just a little bit off topic, I want to say to Cuban, to Troy, the Christian United Broadcasting Network on YouTube, I will be with my father in studio tomorrow. We are going to be calling you, getting a hold of you, and folks who joined us late, we are going to have live video streaming as well as our radio show. We're going to try to do that from now on a regular basis. So back to having video of our ugly mugs as well as audio of our horrendous voices. So I can handle the voices. Hopefully you can handle the faces, and for those of you who've listened for a while, you know what we look like, so there won't be any shock or I don't know if anybody's seen The Ring, where you look at that lady and your face turns permanently into from seeing something so ugly you die, but I'm just kidding. We're going to hopefully be back on video.
Yeah, and I think it's important to do, because what we'd like to do is we'd like to get we've got visuals to provide as well, and it's more of an interactive thing that we'd like to do. And again, this is, in my view, that this is a step where we were headed before and wanted to get to before. I mean, we did a lot of things in order to accomplish this, before we had to change. So, and
somebody, Jinx in the chat room, said she misses the ties so much. Well, we have new ties, and we have we're ready to go. So I would love to be back on video, and I think that's great. I think it adds a whole new dynamic to the show.
Yeah, I do too. But we're still gonna.
It was disappointing to lose it when we did, but we knew we were going to get it back. And thank you, Troy, for the
in advance. By the way, yes, thank you in advance for helping us. And we will still use Blog Talk as the platform, so that way we can continue people can continue to download the archives that we have, and hopefully we try to make this very simple for people too. And I know this is kind of a casual show tonight. I understand that, okay, but we did have some pretty solid information here. But anyway, we try to make it very simple for people to be able to access the archives.
And we'll open the chat room an hour early tomorrow, 7:00, just so we can help people find where we're streaming the video at.
We don't even
know as long as we're doing that. Yeah. But I just want to make sure people have the time. We'll put some up on the website. We'll put some up on our Facebook. And for those of you who don't know, Team K9, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. That's Team K-N-E-I-N. We have Twitter, Team K9 Facebook, Team K9 YouTube. Also, Joe Hagmann Facebook, Doug Hagmann Facebook.
That's right.
Hagmann PI Twitter, Joe Hagmann Twitter. You can contact us on any of these outlets.
And again, it sounds like we've got some identity crisis here with all these.
No, we're using the technology, the social networking to further. We use that for furthering our. It's free marketing, so that's what we do. We have a bunch of callers on the line, though. Let's try and fit them in here. We got 11 minutes left. We're going to go to area code 630. You're on air with Hagmann and the Hagmann Report.
Yes, hello?
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hey, guys. How you doing? I just kind of started listening to your show maybe about a month ago and everything, and, I'm trying to catch up with all the episodes, and it's just been awesome. It's really it's been really good and everything. But my question basically is, I like to say that I've been woken up, over the past year or so. And my question is really, how do you wake other people up, including mainly your family and close friends and everything? Because every time I try to, say something or bring something up, I'm basically just, people think I'm crazy.
I understand, caller. It's a difficult.
We're in the same position.
Take on. Our own close family doesn't listen to us half the time. My wife doesn't even listen to the show.
Right, caller, we get that question all the time, and the persistence, prayer, and
live the example. Be the example.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, exactly.
And let me tell you something. We're at a time now where it's not going to be long before people start to see it on their own, where you won't even have to say much. And also, there are those people that will never see it, no matter how blatant it is, no matter how in their face it is. Obama could come to their house and tell them they're going to take their guns away and put them in a FEMA camp, and they'll still won't believe anything's wrong with it. But what you do is be the example, reach out to who you can, interact with who will talk to you and interact back with you, and just pray for the rest of them, and pray that you're led to the right people, that you can affect the right people.
Exactly. And do your best, caller. That's all that we can say, because a lot of people, like Joe said, will just refuse to listen. And you can't help everybody, or you can't help those that don't want to be, informed and awakened. But don't give up. Don't give up, because we certainly
my family, I feel like they don't even, they don't even take me seriously and everything. But the thing is, though, I've noticed myself. I grew up a Catholic and everything, and I've always been a pretty, faithful Catholic, and I've definitely, ever since I heard the first episode with Steve Quayle, I've just taken more of an interest into, reading the Bible and everything. It's just like, it's kind of unbelievable, just the transformation over the past few weeks. Keep it up, guys.
Well, thank you. And I spent I spent 4 years in a seminary long time ago, and I'll tell you what, I've learned more about the Bible outside of the seminary than I did in the 4 years I spent there. So it's interesting, how things happen. But thanks for the call, and thanks for thanks for listening, and thank you for. I'm glad you like the show. I really am.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Go ahead, Joe. We have anything?
I'm sorry, I was addressing somebody in chat that said that they didn't have the podcast.
Okay, go to
URL, but
HomelandSecurityUS.com and click on Recent Broadcasts, and that'll take you right to. You can download them, or you can listen to them via your player on your computer, or you can download them as for your MP3 player, or you can burn them to CDs or whatever. Whatever you want to do.
Thank you. And I'll try and post the podcast URL in here in a couple minutes we got left. We're going to move on to another caller. We got about 5 minutes left before the end of the show. Caller in area code 305. You are in live with the Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
Hi.
Hello.
Just real quick, on Steve Quayle's site tonight, he had an article up about this Holmes guy being involved in a mine program, flicker rate program out of the Salk Institute. But also, backtracking, remember a few months ago when the zombie thing all hit and everything, and Steve was talking about this drug scopolamine that comes from this tree down in Colombia? And I was reading up on that tonight again because I went over to Beastwatch News and they had posted the article back up again. And it says that the drug turns people into complete zombies and blocks memories from forming. So even after the drug wears off, victims have no recollection as to what happened. It says one victim told Vice that a man approached her on the street asking her for directions. Since it was close by, she helped the man to his destination and they drank juice together. She took the man to her house and helped gather all her belongings. Like they did robberies, people were raped, and they had no memory of being involved in any of it. Okay, so
yeah,
it could be a combination of he was in some kind of MK Ultra program developing this, creepy technology for making multiple personalities. Plus, maybe they turned around and used it on him and drugged him up with this drug. Just throwing this out there. I mean, I don't know that any of this is true. And that this would reason to be why he's saying now he has no memory or anything. And remember the pictures of him, how creepy he looked? His eyes looked all weird and everything.
That's right.
He actually looked like he was a zombie. So, anyway, I just wanted to say that. So, if you guys are going to do some research, maybe, I wonder if anybody did any kind of, we'll probably never know if they tested any drug, with the blood work and everything is on them, but,
they did, and those records are sealed. Yeah, they did a number of things, and everything has been sealed by judicial order.
Oh, yeah, and how about that notebook he supposedly wrote, but the college says, hey, it wasn't delivered when you said it was, it would have just come in on Monday, so, they're floating out some notebook and stuff. How do we even know? The guy can't even string a sentence together anymore.
Just like Osama bin Laden's DNA was confirmed to be his before they dumped his dead body in the ocean, as they state, which is impossible. I mean, completely impossible.
They resurrected that guy so many times that we don't even know if he was even real.
Amen.
Anyway, thanks for the show.
God bless you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, God bless you. Thank you so much for calling.
Can we fit one more in?
Yes, we can. We're going to go to area code 208. You're on live with the Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
One thing I wanted to bring up here on your show tonight, have you heard anything about the shooter's family? The father is supposed to be trying a case for the
LIBOR
credit store company.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's allegedly the caller has the James Holmes' father. I don't know where I put the email. I sent it to my father earlier, but his father is representing or is part of the LIBOR scandal as a third-party credit partner.
Exactly. Yeah, involved in LIBOR. It's more than coincidence, caller. There's more twists and turns to this than the road in San Francisco, I'll tell you. So,
or Pittsburgh.
Okay, this is the first time I've listened to you people.
Thank you.
I'm kind of forwarder of information myself. I work for the different Patriot sites around the country, but I wanted to bring that out because I think it was very important because I'm going to go into it tonight and I'm going to study it.
Well, that's good. I'll tell you, we've
all the people.
A lot. Yeah, and we have just amassed a lot of information, and again, we didn't want to knee-jerk information out there before we had some good, solid evidence. But tonight, I think, is going to start our reporting of it. But
and the more we find, the more that comes out, the stranger it is.
Yeah, it is.
The more questions need to be asked.
Well, caller, thank you very much. We have like 45 seconds, caller. I just want to thank you for listening, and please keep listening and spread the word about the program.
All right, caller. Thank you so much for your call. I hope you call back again when we have more time.
Yeah,
we're up against the end of the show. We have 11 callers in queue still. And I apologize we couldn't get to y'all. I hope one of these days we get through all the callers.
Yeah, my support was down. I apologize for that, but certainly tomorrow night, definitely give us a call back. We'll take your calls, and we'll go.
Our time tonight went so fast. Hopefully Monday we're going to have on that Joe Tampa. Jay Snips is his YouTube channel. He talks about all kinds of economic fraud and et cetera. And ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of the show. We want to thank each and every one of you. God bless you for listening. Thank you for your support. We love you. We cannot thank you enough. We couldn't do it without you.
Good night.